How do you follow that? Thanks, Angela, for setting the bar high. You guys hear me?
Yes.
Well, my name is Bestwina. I have been at Community Family Services, or I have been at Village Community Health for 30 years when I started at Community Health. I have avoided this particular thing every chance I could. So you are getting to see me tackle some of my fears. Anyway, Pillars Community Health, crisis is not rare. It is never hypothetical. It is woven into the realities of the communities that we serve. We see it in our schools, in our neighborhoods, and in the lives of people that we know and trust. And when those moments arrive, we do not stand apart from them. We step forward together. Over the 30 years that I've been here, I've seen our organization grow, change, and deepen its impact. And I've been lucky enough to be a part of that long tradition or legacy of caring for young people and the schools that serve them. I lead our school-based teams right now. So my teams are often the ones that are called when something difficult happens in a classroom, in a hallway, or across the entire school community. That work can be heavy at times, but it is deeply meaningful because it's about showing up for kids, for families, and for educators when they need us the most. In recent months, our community has endured more than one loss. In the last 2 years or so that I've been involved with these programs, there have been 6 or 7 community-based tragedies that PCH has supported to some extent. Just these past few months, we were shaken by the death of a beloved middle school assistant principal to domestic violence just outside our school. A tragedy that rippled through the families, educators, and the wider community there. Soon after that, our community faced the death of an 8th grade student by suicide. And then another nearby school experienced a homicide that deeply impacted staff and students alike. Each of those losses was different. Each affected different people in different ways. But together they revealed the same painful truth. Our schools and our neighborhoods are increasingly on the front lines of grief, trauma, and crisis. In every instance, Pillars Community Health responded not as a single program, but as one united organization. With my Buddy's Place program, school-based program, and loft program staff leading the way, we were able to quickly mobilize, connect with individuals at each of the schools, and come up with a plan to help support their unique and individualized needs. Our Buddy's Place program brought expertise in grief and loss. Our school-based and loft teams worked inside classrooms and hallways where students and teachers were hurting. We were able to incorporate the strengths of our crisis team and our outpatient mental health clinicians for each of these tragedies. Our domestic and sexual violence services were engaged for that specific incident, and our outreach workers connected families and resources that benefited them. Tonight, I want to focus on what happened with one of those moments, the death of the 8th grader by suicide. And I want to focus on this because it shows in real time what our work looks like when the need is urgent and the stakes are high. For her classmates, there was confusion, fear, and grief, layered with questions that felt far too big and far too emotional for their young lives. For teachers, there was heartbreak, even as they were still being asked to keep their classrooms steady. For families, there was the painful task of helping children make sense of something that feels fundamentally senseless and shouldn't be happening. In moments like these, people don't need platitudes. Thoughts and prayers are very nice, but they need real people, real rooms, offering real, in the moment, care and support. that is where Pillars Community House shows up. Before the school week even began, our teams were already preparing. We received a call at our loft location on Saturday morning asking if there was any way that we can help. That call was quickly escalated to our Director of Youth-Based Services, who in turn reached out to me. I connected with the contact person from the school to get a better understanding of what the need was and to get more details. From there, we set up to meet with our team on Sunday morning. We came up with a plan. Unfortunately, these tragedies have been occurring all too often. So we were able to have some kind of an idea of what we could provide. It allowed us to be aligned, thoughtful, and ready for whatever came our way on Monday. The school asked us, how do we support our students? How do we support grieving teachers? How do we honor the student that died? And how do we create safety in a world that is anything but? By Monday morning, PCH was on site. Our Buddy's Place, school-based and loft clinicians helped teachers deliver the news in small classrooms because children grieve best in familiar spaces with familiar adults. Teachers were grieving also, so we helped them find the words that were clear, compassionate, and consistent. Throughout the day, students moved in and out of a quiet space to write notes, share memories, and simply sit together. Many wore the same color in honor of their classmate, a spontaneous act of solidarity that showed how deeply connected this school community is. We met with students one-on-one. We supported small groups. We listened far more than we spoke. At one point, a large circle of students formed organically around one of our clinicians. They weren't just grieving, they were asking the hard questions. Why did this matter? Why didn't we have support like this before? Could this happen again? Our role was not to pretend that we had all the answers. It was to ground them in the present, affirm their feelings, and remind them that they were not alone. This was not a one-day response. The rest of that week, PCH helped the school restore routine and structure, while also preserving choice, because grieving children need both. Students could stay in class or come out for support as needed. That simple choice returned a sense of agency in the moment when everything felt out of control for them. We guided the school on how to handle the student memorial, giving young people a voice in how it would be honored, stored, and remembered, rather than being abruptly removed. This wasn't logistics, it was emotional safety. We also supported teachers, many of whom felt like forgotten mourners, deeply grieving while still expected to carry their classrooms. PCH listened, validated their experience, and created a space for them to process together. And even now, months later, the relationship continues as a group of 8th grade parents reached out to the school to see if there was anything that they could put in place to help them to support their children as they continue to navigate their grief. Because healing does not end when the headlines fade. I was lucky enough to attend that session. In all, there were about 40 parents who attended. Our Buddy's Place and Loft clinicians presented for about 2 hours that night, providing guidance, resources, and answering questions. At the end, parents mobbed them. At the end, parents mobbed them to get personalized individual questions answered, as well as to thank them for all that they have provided. As a PCH leader who works every day with these staff, it was incredible to see, but it was not at all surprising. I want to refer back to a letter of thanks that we received from the superintendent of this school district, where she said, quote, "The silver lining in any tragedy is the outpouring of love and support from others. We thank you for being that silver lining for us. These responses across multiple schools and multiple tragedies revealed something essential about Pillars Community Health. We are not a single program that shows up once. We are an integrated, united organization that stays on to help support those in need. Our crisis team responds in real time. Our DVSA program brings expert violence response. Our outreach staff connect families to resources and support. Buddy's Place carries on the long arc of grief care, and our school-based, loft, and outpatient teams work together inside classrooms where the healing begins. This is why sustained funding matters. Because once word gets out that Pillars Community Health shows up, more schools will call. And they should. That's why we're here. One of our clinicians said it best. When tragedies happen, many people offer thoughts and prayers. But so many of us want to do more. Giving to Pillars Community Health is doing more. It means trained professionals in schools the morning after a tragedy. It means teachers being supported and not abandoned. It means students heard, believed, and held. It means communities not left to grieve alone. Each year, Pillars Community Health serves tens of thousands of people across medical care, behavioral health, school-based services, crisis response, and survivor support. We answer calls day and night. We walk into classrooms, living rooms, and community spaces where people are at their most vulnerable, and we stay. This mission moment is not about one tragedy. It is about who we are when tragedy strikes. We are prepared, we are coordinated, we work as one united team. We listen first, we center dignity, and we keep showing up long after the cameras. Tonight, your generosity is not charity, it is infrastructure. It ensures that the next school that calls, we can say yes, and we know that our clinicians will be able to help and support whatever that situation is. Thank you for believing in the power of care, and thank you for making it possible for PCH to continue whenever our community needs us. Thank you.